Welcome back, everybody, to my Dark Elf multiplayer ranked battle series, Domination mode, if I can help it. Of course, I don't shy away from the odd land battle. Welcome, this is episode 2, and I want to address some things about the last video very quickly before we continue. Firstly, just audio issues. You know, I'm new to this whole content creation thing. I'm just passionate about this game, and I just want to make videos for the fun of it, so please bear with me as I iron out some of those issues, but I think we'll have a better time of it here today. So, yes, I'm playing the Dark Elves. That's the series. I focus on the Dark Elves as I try to work out how to play them in Domination mode against any and all comers. And, Khorne. Well, I didn't really have a plan, honestly, against Khorne. I felt like I really just couldn't think of what to do. So I threw together a build that I had originally planned to fight against Slaanesh. And frankly, that was a bad idea. But I think the battle is interesting. I think it is worth showing, despite the fact that it's a little rough around the edges, to say the least. So let's get right into it. I'll talk a little bit about the build as we get in here. Morathi, just basically to try to win those melee blob fights by lowering some stats. It's not as good as it used to be. It has been nerfed over the years. I think it even got nerfed coming into patch 2.0 here of Warhammer 3, but I'm not 100% on that. Sisters of Slaughter, I figured just are really good for the grind fight. Probably do well against Bloodletters, probably do well against Marauders. Maybe do okay against Chaos Warriors, but I wasn't sure. Brought the Black Ark Corsairs with handbows, because they're just solid. Couple of spears. And yeah, we're going to try out some weird off-meta picks here. Our opponent just bringing a ton of Marauders with dual axes, a ton of Chaos Warriors, and hiding in the bushes back here, in the trees, is a cheeky little unit of Chaos Knights with Lances, which is just so cool. Looking great, just top tier units in terms of visuals. Not quite sure how they'll perform in the battlefield. Their stats are quite meaty, they do flaming damage, that's interesting. 130 armor, yeah, so really, one thing my build is lacking is armor piercing, except for the Black Ark Corsairs, and that's one of the reasons why I immediately pull out some repeater bolt throwers. Now, repeater bolt throwers, I don't know how good they end up feeling, but I do know that they're pretty good at taking out Chaos Warriors when firing the group shots, and they're 700 points, pretty cheap. We'll have a look at the value at the end of the match. But yeah, I still don't know how to feel about that. And so look at this, I line up my inventory like this, like a fool. I'm not used to playing against Valkyria. I forget that she has this spear ability, and by the time I notice, it's too late. I lost so much value right there. My opponent must be cheering. They pretty much, that kind of move on this kind of cost of infantry is pretty much GG. You know, that's how it feels. But we're going to try to pull it back. I have some plans, some schemes, and we'll see them in fruition in a moment. Got a unit of spears up on the high ground to capture point 1. He's sort of deploying in a wide formation, trying to capture both points 2 and 3. My plan is to try to focus my efforts on point 2 and just take it. The spear's up here. I'm just going to park there to just hold anything that he tries to use to catch. So he pushes forward his Marauders and Chaos Warriors here. I have a cheeky little plan. I'm hitting him, trying to get some value with the Pit of Bolt Throwers. I sort of hold him in place, sandwich him, and then Pit of Shades, you know it, baby. One of the most meta spells right now. But he springs the trap while I'm doing this. Chaos Knight's coming out of the woodwork, so I kite backwards, and look at that damage. You know, I do lose a little bit of my Sisters of Slaughter in the process, but frankly, they probably wouldn't have survived the melee, so might as well wipe one unit out with 2. Kind of have this unit of Sisters clumped up on the side, but hey, at least they stood out of the spell effects. Chaos Warriors, Marauders, also got my other unit of Sisters of Slaughter up here, tying up the Marauders here, just kind of getting routed off immediately. Pulled my spears up to screen off these Fleshhounds of Khorne and the Chaos Knights with Lances, but yeah, again, not really any solid armor piercing. Should really be getting my Bolt Thrower to shoot at them, but I feel like I'm not so worried about cavalry in terms of capture weight. And also, he did just get this Blood Shrine of Khorne, which I feel like is also a concern, because that thing's just going to chariot up my world. And again, very low on infantry, really need to be summoning some stuff. I just pulled out these Dark Riders in a panic. I don't honestly know why. But I did also grab the Bloodrack Medusa, which is a bit of a controversial pick if you ask me. Armor-piercing missiles a bonus versus infantry, I think. Yeah, we're just also getting... there's another pit of shades happening over here. Sorry, I'm not yet good at quickly getting my my mouse on the things here. Yeah, so we do have bonus versus infantry on the missile strength. We also have just armor-piercing weapons, magic attacks in case of demons. So yeah, I'm trying it out. I want to see how it feels. We got some Dark Riders just trying to tie up the Khorne Knights here. And you can see across the field we've committed some Black Arc crossbows just to sort of get some capture weight on the board, but also to tie up these Close Warriors of Khorne. But here come the Lancers just hitting the back, crushing them. He's also got 3 units over here. He decided to unsummon some Marauders. But he's got the Marauders and Warriors over here, so it's going to be very hard for me to take that point, but perhaps I should have summoned something, sent it up the front. I got 2 units of Dread Spears coming in just to try to like occupy and keep this area captured up here. I've also pulled my spears off this point, which probably was ill-advised. My opponent very wisely sends some Bloodlands of Khorne up there, and I don't really have a plan for that. My Bloodrack Medusa is currently shooting into, I believe, the Chaos Knights, as is my Repeater Bolt Thrower. Marathi has had a bit of a scrap with Valkyria, but, you know, mostly she's getting some good value. Valkyria charging into the front, into my spears, you know, very low tier infantry. It's going to be hard for me to hold. So I'm trying my best. I get a little, what do you call it, a Power of Darkness on a fleeing unit that's pretty much dead. I figure I might as well suck their souls so that I may cast more Pits of Shade, because honestly it's the Pits of Shade that's keeping me vaguely in this game right now. I am ahead of points to my opponent, but that's not going to last long unless I can retake the center, and as you can see, it's a bit of a shit fight. Also, I'm quickly losing my only other point advantage, and there's not much I can do about that. So, what do I do? Well, Sisters of Slaughter, Bleak Swords, the Repeater Bolt Throwers probably should be unsummoned. I could unsummon a few things around the battlefield. My Bloodrack Medusa, let's have a look at the value. It's been shooting for a good while now, and yeah, only 300 value, so just not really cutting the mustard for now. Valkyria and Marathi are in a duel to the death. I figure with Marathi I just need to lower the stats of these Chaos Knights in order for the Dread Spears to do some work. I'm willing to have her fight to the death. She's kind of used up a lot of her magic anyway. I'm going to try to flee and keep her alive, but, you know, with limited success. I think I unsummon her, actually, which, now that I think about it, I probably should have kept her in the fight as much as possible. What the hell? I don't remember doing that. I feel like that might be a replay bug, because I didn't play this battle that long ago, and I swear to you that I didn't cast anything like that. Maybe I did, I don't know. It was a pretty hectic battle. That does seem like a mistake, though. You know what? As you can see from this battle, I've definitely, played it pretty poorly, so I could imagine something like that could happen, but it doesn't seem like something I remember I did. But you can see I've also cleared up a lot of the Khorne stuff. We've got these Skull Crushers and they're a problem, but only 2 units on the center point, so if I can get my infantry forward, we can recapture this. I don't really have a plan of how to deal with the Bloodletters right now. I sent the Witch Elves, I think, up the guts. But I really, honestly, I think the Witch Elves could have traded pretty well with the Bloodletters, so in hindsight, that's something I should have done. And also, I'm running them off into the distance rather than getting them on the point to capture. I should really be committing the Bloodrack Medusa into combat right now. She's just blasting away on these Chaos Warriors. I've also got some units idling in the back. You know, this Black Arc Corsairs is still sitting there doing nothing. Really should have unsummoned that a while ago. Got to get better at checking that. Let's have a look at the value on the Medusa. Only 600, so doubled the value, but you know, it's an expensive unit costing 1300, so really need to be doing better than that. I also have some Dark Riders over here. I was hoping to like maybe sandwich this unit of Warriors of Khorne and break them, but he brought his Skull Crushers over and Valkyria, and I decided to pull out. Couldn't get it done. Probably should have done it over here. Would have been a way better target to do it on the Bloodletters. They would have crumbled much faster. And there goes the Bloodrack Medusa. So I've also got the Witch Elves. I've got some spears. I think I'm bringing forward more infantry. Yeah, I summoned more Witch Elves, I guess just to sort of grind out. And we're starting to recapture, but at this point, I haven't been able to retake any points quickly enough, and it's a fairly cut and dry victory for my opponent. So let's talk about some things real quickly as we watch the roundup. The Dark Riders, there's a logic to having some Vanguard deployed units here, but basically they were fairly useless. I'd much rather just have some higher quality like Haganeth Executioners, maybe some Blackguard, maybe even just more Black Art Corsairs, or just anything, maybe even just more Shades perhaps instead of Dark Riders. I think Shades would have done a lot of work in this matchup. I think it could have potentially killed the Knights very quickly. The Skull Crushers wouldn't have stood much of a chance. And you can see, like, against Marauders, the Dark Riders do okay. But, you know, I just far too little too late. So some good ideas, just poorly executed. I do have the Blackguard Corsairs coming forward now. I had a few of them, but not a ton. And yeah, the Skull Crushers coming in hot. They're going to destroy the Dark Riders, but, you know, they're not going to have enough capture weight to really contest. And I do recapture this point, but again, even if I was to capture 2 points, and I am capturing the second point now, it's just far too little too late. This Chaos Warrior unit over here basically didn't move the whole game, and that was smart. I should have also probably left my spear unit up here and not given this point so easily, or just had more of an awareness. But as I was fighting the battle, I was like really I was basically, my camera was here, you know, and I was really focused, and I'd occasionally look left and right, but I wasn't all keeping an eye on the mini-map. And yeah, I'm not even going to retake this, I think, in time. So let's fast forward here as we get to the end. You know, again, I'm not totally unhappy with my performance. I think I had some good ideas, but yeah, not the greatest execution. So, these two Sisters of Slaughter got absolutely destroyed by Valkyria's Spear Slapnir. And their value, of course, was very limited as a result. But the one that survived managed to get 2 chevrons. And even then, like, not great value. Yeah, sure, killed some Marauders, so what? You know, this unit cost 1,000. Marauders cost pittance by comparison. The Black Art Corsairs, for their fairly low kills, also wasn't super happy with their performance. You know, we can forgive it on the Dread Spears. As for the reinforcements, we can see, you know, we got our value back from the repeater bolt thrower, which is okay, but a large part of that was because my opponent did not send any Furies, didn't send any Fleshhounds of Khorne, just totally let me just fire with impunity. I think a better opponent probably would have shut this down fairly decisively, so I don't necessarily believe that this was a good pick. You know, the Witch Elves, certainly, like, that looks impressive with the amount of kills there, but this is also an expensive unit, not a great deal of value back. Again, only some of them very late into the piece. And the Bloodrack Medusa, which I honestly was targeting Chaos Warriors most of the time, because I figured armor-piercing missiles, you know, and it barely even got close to paying for itself, you know. And this was also ignored by my opponent. You know, he could have easily focused it down with Valkyria, or just even sending Fleshhounds after it. I think its armor is pretty terrible, so Fleshhounds probably would have done decent work against it. I'm not 100% on that, that's just a theory. So overall, my build, not a lot of synergy, not a lot of strategy. But, you know, I had a good start, and probably could have won if I had just lifted my game a little bit. But my opponent played well. He got some good spears and just good positioning on me, and I responded to it poorly. So that's it for the battle. I think I've learned a lot. I think I'll play a lot better against Khorne next time I get the matchup. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.